We are nearly 8.5 billion people, and we are lonely. So in a pretty crowded world, people are feeling lonely. Well, there is a societal or sociological aspect to it, but loneliness per se is not a social phenomenon, it is a psychological phenomenon. That sitting among a crowd of people, you can still feel lonely. Being with people who love you, even if you are loved and cared for, still you could feel lonely because it's a psychological phenomenon. You can make yourself lonely just about anywhere. So one important aspect, I'm trying to, say something about the society, but my main focus is on the individual. One thing that's happened in the society is the value of solitude is gone. What it means to be in solitude, most profound time of your life. This is the time you soak up life. So one thing was maintained in yogic cultures, how much time you spend in imbibing things or perceiving things, and how much time you spend in expression. This must be 1:3. If you are 2/3 of the time imbibing, 1/3 if you express, your expression will be profound and worthwhile for everybody. It will not be just noise in the world, it will be of some value. But today, because of very early opportunities to express, even a 6-year-old child has something to say on the Facebook. When you're a child, it's to wonder, imbibe the world. That's a phenomenal creation. You must imbibe as much as you can before you find a word for it. But for everything we have a word, and a whole lot of words are turning filthy. In this expression, there is no opportunity to perceive and imbibe life, simply like a noise going on. So as human becomes more and more din, then being lonely is a natural consequence. This is just one aspect. There are many, many aspects to it. This is not a simple issue, this is a massive issue, and it's one of the fastest growing problems on the planet. So, in this world, if we just let it be as is and just go on, technology is progressing, and especially expressive technologies are going to multiply in ways that you have not imagined in the next 4 to 5 years' time with the AI and all these things. If this happens and we don't do anything about it, it's possible that in another 10 to 15 years' time, there'll not be a single family without at least one person who is mentally broken. Already we have achieved some landmarks. Slowly it is, there is almost no family over 40 years of age without some kind of prescription medication going on, physical stuff and whatever. But that will become common for mental things. Physical ailments are painful, but mental ailments are painful beyond imagination. Physical pain, you understand, and everybody has compassion for that. With mental pain, you don't know whether they're acting up, are they really helpless? What is happening you can't figure because they flip from this to that and that to this. There is no one gauge for it. Nobody can clearly say this is it. This is the nature of psychological issues that I have seen so many people, it just beats you. If you try to hold them this way, they'll fall there. If you try to hold them there, they'll fall here, So this could become a massive problem. All the things, many things that we have achieved in the last 100 years as humanity, as human societies, it's wasted when we cannot… See, life is far more comfortable physically than ever before in the history of humanity. Particularly, I'm warning the woman. You are the first generation who is enjoying the level of freedom and comfort and convenience that a woman has ever had in the history of humanity. Never before. Hello? This we should not slip out of our hands and fall. That's where we are. If we don't do the right things now, if we don't take a massive action without indiscriminate action, without borders of nationality, race, religion, this, that, indiscriminate action for the human species to see that they stabilize their software. If we don't do this, all this development, all these conveniences, all the wonderful things that technology has heaped upon us, everything will go waste because we are not okay here. Already you're seeing it. People are driving chariots, what no emperor could have. The greatest emperors had 12 horses on their chariots. But you're driving chariots with 600 horses, at least 250, but they're driving their dream car. How many of them are driving blissfully or joyfully or at least peacefully? You just stop the traffic for 2 minutes, they'll be freaking. After all, they're sitting in their dream car. Why can't they sit there for some more time and enjoy it? They always wanted that car. If somebody forces you for you to stay in your dream car or your dream home, you must enjoy it. You saw the pandemic time, they forced you to stay in your dream home. What mess? So, there is a difference between masking our illness, avoiding our illness and being healthy. This is a distinction we must set clearly. This is for individuals. Mass application is different. We can only create facility, we can facilitate a few things here, there. But individuals should set a clear standard for themselves how to be. Well, it's easier said than done because human beings are not committed to their well-being, unfortunately. They want well-being to come to them. They're not committed to creating it. Unless they commit to creating it, really loneliness, or when I say loneliness, I see it as an incubation period for mental illness. You're incubating trouble. It will come. How soon, how later, what is the volume of trouble you will get may vary from person to person because this depends on genetics, this depends on social support that you have, your own intelligence, whatever, many factors. But is it coming? It is coming for everybody because the moment you start feeling lonely, lonely means just this. The loneliness is of time. When I say loneliness is of time, that is you sit here, time doesn't roll for you. If you look at this is always rolling. Hello? The time is always rolling. We don't have to spend it. If you sit here, it goes away. This is the beauty of life and this is also the terror of life because life is going away. As I sit here, whoa, 1 more minute gone of my life. Yes or no? Not watch ticking, life is going away. So it is of time. If time becomes burdensome on you, that it rolls too slow, already you become lonely. That is why it is so. Loneliness does not necessarily mean there are no people around you. That's not the point. It is not about people. People are a little bit of an antidote. Maybe you find some release, but release is just a mask or just a little bit of arrangement. Loneliness is essentially happening because there is nothing beyond your thought and emotional process. You have become just physiological and psychological process. There is nothing more profound happening within the human being. Even if thought became profound, then also you wouldn't become lonely. If your thought and emotion happened the way you want, would you keep yourself joyful or miserable? Joyful. If you keep yourself joyful, when you're joyful, have you seen time? 24 hours just flips like that. When you're miserable, do you see how slow time rolls? So loneliness is of time because life is of time. If you do not know how to ride the time, then the same cycles of time will crush you. Loneliness is that crush. If it crushes you further, then it becomes mental illness. And they're not two different things, they're progression. They're trying to imbibe music on the street when they're walking, or a podcast, or maybe they missed the lecture and they're listening to it on the street, we don't know. But I'm saying everything else in the world is missed except the phone screen. You know the cosmos on the phone screen. What this essentially means is, you have heaps of information and no experience about anything. So it gives you a false sense of knowing everything without knowing a damn thing about anything. This is not a problem of technology, because technology facilitates. How we use it is individual choice. The cultivation of what we do in schools, in homes, this is important because people have children, but their lives are such, they're still struggling with basic things in their own life, especially those who start drinking below 18 years of age. Psychological problems, if they've not gotten into it, it's a miracle. The strength of their system somehow held on. They may not be really mentally ill in terms of medical terms, but if something happens in the traffic, if you have to yell at somebody, you're mentally ill in my opinion. All of us are driving something, somebody made a mistake, somebody made a wrong turn. If you have to yell obscenities, then you're mentally ill, but that's being normalized. One of the biggest dangers for this society is, both in the normal society and in the medical fraternity, we're making illness normal. Normalization of illness, this is very dangerous. oh, how can we set such a standard nobody can reach? It's not about a standard. It is just that normal means you're untroubled, either in body or mind. If I sit here, I have no troubles in my body or in my mind. This is health at a rudimentary level. We can raise it to other levels, let's not go there. Just a rudimentary level, you're sitting here, your body is comfortable, your mind is comfortable. We can say you're healthy. Now when we make it normal that you have this is problem, it's okay because everybody has it. This is dangerous because once you set such a standard, they will push the boundary, they'll push the boundary, they'll push the boundary. Then that guy who's completely stoned out and like this in a zombie in many of these cities sitting there, he thinks he's normal. He thinks there's something wrong with you, you're going to work like a slave every day. One big mistake we have done as modern societies is to talk about freedom. Freedom is an experience, a very profound, fantastic and most valuable human experience is freedom. But when we make it a social jingo, we're free, I'm free, you're free, now irresponsible behavior will come out of that. If you live responsibly, you will be free within yourself. If you aspire for freedom, you will become more and more irresponsible because doing freaky things looks like freedom. You're a young man, but we come from 60s where freedom, too much freedom people did. And you know where it ended up? Because freedom is a consequence of living in a certain way. Freedom is not something that you do. You cannot do the consequence, you cannot do the fruit. You can only nurture the plant. Fruit has to happen.